Tabletopped will start after the following messages.
Are you looking for something comfortable to wear and keep your brain warm while playing tabletop games? Daily Dose of Yarn makes handmade, customized beanies for all of your style and comfort needs. She can even help you with a custom beanie to represent your favorite character. Check out Daily Dose of Yarn on Instagram and Etsy to order your new favorite beanie today.
Do you know where the legend of Bigfoot comes from? Or why people leave offerings of beans to the Mothman statue? No? Well, I'll certainly tell you on Myth Monsters. We're a mythical monsters and cryptid podcast that goes up every Thursday, and we talk about how these monsters came to be and how they exist within our modern culture and media to this day. So if you're interested in finding out about kelpies, wendigos, unicorns, or Bigfoot himself, tune in to Myth Monsters every Thursday on all streaming platforms, and please, stay spooky.
Oh, hey there, how you doing?
Yar, do you be searching for a D&D play podcast?
Join us as we sail across the high seas.
It be a heroine horror campaign inspired by piracy and Lovecraftian tales.
To Whom the Sea Belongs is the first campaign of the Kaleidosphere podcast.
Yes, that's kale, like the vegetable. IDO, sphere, wherever podcasts are found, yes.
My name is Cole.
My name's Kevin.
Very pleased to have been invited to do this.
Super fun. Sorry, I thought we were going to do that part too. Oh. Sorry, I thought it was like an answering machine thing. Okay. Yeah.
It's like an answering machine, but it's an ad on Tabletop Podcast.
Oh, okay.
One of the finest role-playing game podcasts of all time. As a trivia podcast who does a live trivia from Northern Ontario every single week, we sometimes ask questions about TTRPGs, such as Monster of the Week, Pathfinder, and D&D.
You do those, much to the absolute hatred of the crowd. For the most part, you do get beat up in the parking lot quite often.
If you're not the type of person who wants to beat me up in the parking lot, maybe check out Super Fun at Trivia and enjoy the rest of Tabletop Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tabletop. We could not go through October without talking about the spooky, the scary, the classic monster that defines the month, the ghost. Now, I was recently a ghost, so I've gathered around me experts who have brought me back from the other side to talk about this monster, how you can use it in your campaigns, and what it is as a D&D sort of tool. Who's here with me today?
Hi, I'm your favorite boo, Shade.
Boo!
Yeah, that's right, I feed on it.
And it's the ghost of Old Man Franco.
Oh, hey, Old Man Franco's back!
Oh my god.
This is my best recurring.
All right, what about you? Who are you over there through the mists?
Who are you?
I'm just gonna say I wasn't in on the joke, so I'm just Greg. I just wandered into this hallway at in the middle of the night and decided I was gonna listen to the creepy sounds.
Great. Let our vibrations lull you to the other side.
There we go.
Oh. Why are you vibrating, man?
I'm very uncomfortable now.
All right, everyone. The ghost. It is sort of something that has been in all media everywhere for all time. So, what is it in D&D, Shade?
Oh gosh. So ghosts, they're exactly what you expect them to be. They are the spirits of the dead. They, just from a stat blocks kind of measure, they are in the basic rules and in your monster manual, they are a 40-foot flying creature, 45-ish hit points, 11 AC. They resist acid, fire, lightning, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. And they are purely immune to cold, necrotic, and poison, along with the conditions of charmed, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poison, prone, restrained. If that's not good content, I don't know what is, folks. But
read some more to me.
Yeah. So the cool thing, though, about ghosts in D&D is they have some great story beats that you can insert them into. They're also really fun monsters because they do have a lot of resistances, so they can be really scary, especially to your lower level characters. They have ethereal sight and can see into the ethereal plane, and of course they can bounce between through walls and things like that, but they can also possess your characters. And they can
age them.
They can age them. That's right. They have a horrifying visage, so they can age each creature within 60 feet of them has to make a wisdom save, and if they fail, they gain a 1d4 times 10 years, which may not be a big deal if you're an elf, but if you're a human, there's no mechanical aspect to this, but maybe you were playing a 70-year-old human for some reason. And
it happened to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was turned into a ghost.
I was young man Franco just moments ago.
But he saw a ghost.
But I failed my save 5 times.
Thankfully, that can be restored with a greater restoration, but only within 24 hours of it occurring, so...
Ghosts are also a bundle of bullshit. Why don't you tell us why, Franco?
Well, if a ghost touches you for exactly your hit points and you're level 1, then you will die instantly.
With no way to save, no way to come back.
There's no save, you just get hit. Yeah, it's, what is it, Withering Touch? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, wait, is it Withering Touch? Or did Danny make it up and just kill me for no reason?
So it wasn't a ghost that killed you, because it was in Death House. It was a...
Oh, it's a specter.
Yeah, which is similar. So there
Sorry,
are
I'm canceled. I'm leaving.
I'm canceled. there are other flavors of Ghost in 5th edition, but they all kind of have similar things. And the Spectre had that wonderful ability that just drains you dead.
Classic.
Yeah.
What are your comments on the wonderful ability?
I think it's pretty fucking cool, actually. Basically,
it's
really
like
rad. There's like so few monsters that can just one shot you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just kind of fun. Well, like if the Spectre touches you and it deals damage exactly equal to your hit points and it drops you to 0, or I mean, if it drops you to 0 with its attack, then you're dead. And so. Versus, you're just like, I'm going to make a saving throw. What does that mean? I don't know. You're just bored for 3 rounds until you die or whatever. This game is dumb.
Don't play tabletop games, folks.
They're stupid and a waste of time. Yeah. What about you, Greg? Have you ever either played in a game where you had to deal with the ghosts, or have you used ghosts in some sort of storytelling / game that you've run in the past? Like what is your feelings on them as monsters, either encountering them or anything like that?
I would generally say, I've encountered ghosts before in the past. In real life. I'm just here, I thought this was a different podcast. In D&D, we were in essentially what was a haunted house, and I can't remember the module. This could have been actually like 3rd edition, but... no, I think it was 5th. The thing is that we were trying to uncover like a murder mystery, and there was a ghost that had been the unfortunate victim of said murder, and you're trying to bring justice to her, and while at the same time uncovering why this happened. So she wasn't like the primary villain, but what was kind of terrifying about it is that as a ghost, and you know me, I love tragic monsters. I love monsters that are like you feel sympathy for, but are still incredibly dangerous. Because she's in the state of like rage and despair. She doesn't exactly understand what you're trying to help her. So when she looks at you, at least the DM was saying, is that she's seeing you're the murderer and she has the chance to kill you. So that's why she's coming after you.
I feel like that is one of my also... one of the things I really love about Ghosts is that they're so flexible when it comes to using them in whatever either module or story you're trying to run. You can decide that they can talk, and you can have them talk to your people. You can have them like share memories if you wanted to. There's like a lot of different things that you can do to make it so that they are both like they're like a dangerous NPC, where like the NPC is going to give you information and is going to be a source of pushing the story forward, but also can age you into old Franco.
Yeah. I think the best description I ever heard of a ghost was or a haunted house was, this place is not an evil place. It's sad and it's lonely, and that makes it dangerous all the same.
Yeah.
And it also helps with the creep factor, because you don't know whether you're crying out of sadness for this person's plight because it's terrible, or you're trying to run the hell away from it because
I need an old Franco and a young Franco.
and together we can become full Franco.
Middle-aged Franco.
Middle-aged Franco.
That's me right now. Wait, I guess not. I don't know.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not really.
I hope not.
You don't know.
You whippersnapper.
Wait, what were we talking about? Ghosts?
Yeah.
We're talking about ghosts.
I think what's also cool is
Welcome back to Ghost Pod.
Welcome back to Ghost Pod. Well, yeah, you can, like you were saying, Nick, like you could have them even just like acting out scenes from their life or something like that. I was just actually that just brought to mind The Witcher, and there's like that ghost lamp that you can use to like reveal just like basically just memories, like imprints in the world. Actually, Rebecca, my wife, likes to say or likes to think that like ghosts are just manifestations of like people in different like cross-dimensional people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like just going like they're existing out of time, and so they're like, I don't know if I'm explaining this very well.
I mean, that's a fun idea.
Yeah, it could be like a really interesting way to use ghosts in your campaign, as that they're like sort of like
they're impressions from the fourth dimension.
Yeah, it's almost like a Spelljammer thing where they like got lost in the astral sea and now they're like going through your campaign.
Yeah, it's just you just do Interstellar.
Yeah, exactly. It's Interstellar. But I also, you mentioned the flexibility of them. Of course, you guys have a waiter at your bar.
Oh yeah,
in Waterdeep.
I thought you were gonna say there's a waiter right behind you.
There's a waiter. He's been here the whole time.
You drink for free here, sir.
No, in the Waterdeep modules, there is you can get a bar, and you've got a specter who you've convinced to be your waiter because he was haunting the place, and you made him your waiter.
Yeah.
So cool. Love that flexibility about ghosts, man.
I also just really think that ghosts are the best because you can make them understandable. You can make them into NPCs if you want. You can use them really in any way that you come up with. But my favorite way is to make them completely inscrutable. Like, you don't understand them. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know why they're here. There's no way to reason with them. They're not acting logically or rationally, and that way they just become really scary because it's just like somebody lashing out and being very, it's not even somebody, it's just like a force. It's kind of like the wind's deciding that it wants to age you to be 50 years old or whatever. It's scary. So that's how I like to think of ghosts, is that the less you know about them, and like even as the DM, you don't have to know much about them. You just need to make sure that your players don't either.
Yeah, I'd say following through on that, at least how I'm interpreting this is like if you're wanting to go for like a really dark impression of a ghost, if you're still kind of on the fence on whether or not it's like, I want my ghost to actually be the soul of this person who just hasn't been able to move on, or you can say, yeah, the ghost is more of like, ectoplasm's weird, like the higher functionings have gone to wherever they're supposed to go, and then this like one traumatic moment where this person is at their worst is stuck there forever, and it's replaying itself, and that's what you, the PCs, have to deal with right now. And I don't know, it's just the idea of trauma lasting through the ages and affecting the
crossing dimensions,
dimensions, and the sins of the past catching up to the present. It's just a very dark and a depressing thing, and I'm all here for it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also read a book once that I thought was really good, where it was similar to what I said, where like they weren't reasonable. All of it, they were attracted to things that were alive, and if they touch you, they would kill you. It was just like, they weren't malicious. They would just touch you, and then you would die. But then there was a moment where these people were like trying to deal with this specific ghost, and it was out, they were gonna die, but then they had somehow gotten this other guy to come in who had tricked them to be in this house, and he was the one who had killed her, and she was like, that's who I want, and then just change and go. And so it's like, oh, there's some glimmer of like something still in there that's a real person or whatever, and that actually kind of makes it scarier in a way, you know, where it's like, oh, there's deep down there's something there that's like intelligent, but we just don't know how to communicate with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's a search to like find it. What will ignite it, and is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because maybe it will allow them to move on. Maybe it's going to trigger something even worse. Yeah.
I like for my ghost to be something you can't permanently put down. So in in 5th edition, to my knowledge, I'm not an endless encyclopedia of these things, but there's nothing that says like once you kill the ghost, it can't come back or anything like that. But I like the notion that they are permanent, and it is a puzzle to release them and send them on to the next thing. That's always how I like to play my ghosts, as much as I can, at least, because we've talked about this elsewhere. It is weird that you can attack a ghost with a weapon or your fists or something like that. As Sean says, you shouldn't be able to punch a ghost.
I disagree. I love that. Punch a ghost. Punch all of them.
But you know, and 45 hit points isn't a lot, so that seems odd. But adding this little layer of like, okay, yeah, it's gone for now.
Yeah,
it will come back, and just kind of you can ratchet up some horror because there's now a time limit, and it may remember what you've done recently, and it may hate you more for that. I've never had a chance to do it, but there are so many different kind of. There's the ghost stat block, but there's also the specter stat block, and recently from the Journey to the Radiant Citadel, there's the Haint. You know, these are all kind of in the same realm. There are differences, obviously, and cultural aspects to some of these, but
one of my favorites is the Dybbuk, actually.
Yeah.
Dybbuk is very cool. It basically like possesses bodies.
Yes.
And then, sorry, you were saying, and there's also a Poltergeist stat block.
Yep, there is a Poltergeist.
Poltergeist is very cool.
So I like the idea of like, if you do go through this, you kill it, but it doesn't go away because you haven't solved its problem. You haven't released it from this mortal coil. I like the idea of then evolving it to another stat block.
Ooh,
so
cool.
It went from a ghost to now it's going to be a specter, and now it's going to be a poltergeist, you know, something like that.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. I've always loved the idea of a monster that just like returns, and it's the martial prowess of the party really only delays so that you can figure something out. I think it's a very smart way to do it. Yeah.
Shade, I think you just invented like ghost evolution, like Pokemon, like a Pokemon evolution.
Gotta bust them all.
Yeah.
I knew you'd make that face, man.
It's fine.
Who knew that a ghost digivolves into a specter?
Digivolves into Mega Ghost.
Into Slimer. All right, yeah, so now as we kind of approach the end of our ghost episode, it is the spooky season, so how would you use in like, let's say, since a ghost, like you said, has a low armor class, has not a lot of hit points, it doesn't really feel like it is the main big bad. Do you guys suggest that folks use this as sort of like set dressing? Do you think that you should use them as like, you know, mob enemies? Like what do you want people to like start steering themselves towards, or what do you, from your experience, just doesn't really work with these things? It makes them feel not great, or it doesn't feel like a real kind of spooky ghost. So what would you say, pros, cons? How would you use them in this scary month of October?
Could you use them as a mob? That would be really wild.
Oh yeah, you for sure can do it.
That would actually be pretty scary, though.
Screw your players over, yeah.
Yeah.
You just have like 30 ghosts.
I did release on a group, I think it was 5 ghosts.
Whoa.
And it was... Oh, actually, also Sean, when we were playing Ico Year 1, he went into that tower that none of us went into, and he went through an entire library's worth of ghosts, and he aged like 5 times there.
Yeah, and he was playing an old man.
He was playing an old man already. It was
that was his
scary.
Livius.
Yeah.
Yeah, old man Livius.
It's, you know, you can do it. It runs some risks, though.
Wait, Livius is only like 50 years old,
Well,
but I
not
like how
anymore.
he plays him. He plays him like he's like ancient.
Yeah, I mean, he also plays him as if he's Sean Connery. So Sean Connery has
It's kind
never
of hard to tell.
actually been young, even when he was James Bond.
Yeah.
But no, so you can do it as mobs. Personally, for me, a ghost is an NPC.
Yeah. Interesting. Personally, for me, a ghost is a trap.
Hey, I like that.
Ooh,
Agreed.
Yeah, ghost is a trap. Ghost trap, good.
Ghost trap.
I think, like, if you wanted to do like some sort of theme or something like that, you separate one of the players, you get them in a place where they wouldn't be able to access like their usual powers or things like that, and then you have a ghost slowly approach them. So I don't know,
possess them,
Yeah.
or
Possession, so good. Yeah.
it is, or something, or you can even describe it as like they're in the basement, they hear something scuttling around, they go back up to reach the NPC. the other player characters. Door closes and locks. They see something shuffling up the stairs towards them, like in a worse way, and then they have to decide, like, do you break down the door? Do you try to find some access away of that? That's something right out of a nightmare.
Yeah, it's fun too. If you can take away or not give them magical weapons, it does become much more of a threat if you're going to have them fight this thing, because it's basically resistant to everything except for a monk's fist.
Yeah.
I still say, though, if you have the opportunity to possess things, do it sparingly.
I would say really only possess NPCs that they love.
Or that is very good.
Because then they're trapped in there and they're like, shit, we have to figure this out.
Yeah, players love when you take away their agency.
Rule 1, take away agency.
Yeah, I mean, it could create really cool moments, but maybe just use it sparingly.
Yeah, let them do it like for fun for like a second, and you're like, haha, look at me, I'm making you throw up or something. Just like do a full like exorcist or some shit.
Yeah, the head spins around.
And then he jumps out and is like, okay, I'm done possessing you. Haha, I'm leaving now, bye.
Yeah. It would actually be really fun, like if you want to go kind of spooky silly, you can, I would love for a shopkeep to be a ghost, and then when people like try to screw him over, he's like, rah! like ages them 30 years or whatever.
Shit. Oh shit.
You try to steal this candy bar, I age you 20 years.
Oh, he's too young to know better. He's a 20-year-old man.
Oh, hey kid, you're trying to buy beer illegally? I'm gonna age you 20 years. Oh shit. Actually, okay. It's like, can I have the beer now? It's like, yeah, now you can have the beer.
He just uses his aging power to like make real customers that he can sell to legally.
Shit, that's smart. Now that's a scam.
Oh, yeah. No, I just thought of like, okay, this is awful, but like,
I can't wait.
This is so bad, but what if you had a war going on and you were running out of soldiers?
No.
But you had
you monster!
I'm sorry.
It's like a ghost.
I don't want to think these things.
I mean, that would be a cool thing to like, as the characters like figure out where this like, I don't know, evil empire. They have unlimited soldiers. It's weird. How do they have so many soldiers? It's because they put all their kids through this like room that ages them, and it's because there's a ghost in there or whatever.
Oh, I hate
terrible.
it.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that one. That's sad now.
Don't do it. It was an intrusive thought, and it came out. I'm sorry.
Now it's for the internet.
It was haunting me, and now it haunts you.
But do make the shopkeeper ghost that makes legal legal buyers of his alcohol.
That ghost is a bro.
Or it's like a guy comes in and is like, oh man, this is the vitamin that my dad used to like. Too bad I'm super healthy. Withering touch.
The vitamin.
What?
Sorry, what vitamins are you taking that you love so much, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, these Flintstone gummies. I love them.
Just eat the Flintstone gummies.
All right, everyone.
This went off the rails.
Yeah, here at the end, I hope we gave you a germ of an idea of some way to use a ghost. It's a little bit off the beaten path. But I hope you all enjoy Monday's episode, and we'll be back next Thursday for another Under the Bed. All right, bye! Well, there you have it. Another episode of Tabletops come and gone. If you like the show, you can support us by liking the podcast and giving us a 5-star rating on Apple iTunes. You can also leave a review. Always helps. You can also come to our website at tabletoppod.com or go to our Patreon if you want to financially support the show at patreon.com/tabletopped. If you're interested in buying some ad space with Tabletop, send us an email. You can either go to our website and hit the contact form there, or send us an email at tabletoppodcast@gmail.com. Enjoy, everyone, and we will see you next Monday for another episode of Tabletopped.